Okay, so good evening, everyone, and welcome to Charles University's 2025 Virtual Information Night. We're very excited to have you with us for this session on studying IT online. My name is Andrew Connell, and I'm one of the engagement officers at Charles University. I'm joined tonight by our senior lecturer for School of Computing, Mathematics and Engineering, Dr. Jason Howarth. And I'd also like to inform you we are recording this session. So if you do not wish to be recorded, please turn off your camera, but continue to engage in the session. You can also choose to remain anonymous when asking a question in our Q&A box as well. Just some quick housekeeping. You're welcome to add questions to our Q&A panel throughout the session. The last 10 minutes will be dedicated to answering some of those questions live. If we don't get a chance to answer your question, you can also email us as well at our SX Service Centre, it's called, or our faculty team. And the email for that is ask@csu.edu.au. And I'd just like to quickly do an acknowledgement of country to get started. I'll start again. So I'd like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of all the lands we are meeting today. We respectfully acknowledge the traditional owners and custodians of the lands on which we live and work together. Charles University and its staff pay respect to elders within the First Nations communities and acknowledge the continuity of cultures, languages, leadership and knowledge systems. We acknowledge First Nation peoples' continuous connection to country, recognising the unique, diverse identities and cultures of peoples in our communities, regions and nation. As such, we value the collaboration to strongly position First Nation peoples in our university through languages, leadership, cultures, knowledge, research and ceremonies. Okay, so it's my pleasure now to introduce Senior Lecturer in Computing in the School of Computing, Mathematics and Engineering, Dr. Jason Howarth.
Thanks, Andrew, and welcome along everyone to our information night on studying IT online. As Andrew said, my name is Jason. I've been with CSU for, well, quite a few years now, well over 20 years, 23 years, I think it is. CSU is a very distributed campus, so I'm coming to you from Port Macquarie. And welcome as well to our graduates here tonight, Caroline and Mitchell. They've gladly come along to tell you a little bit about the courses as well, but I'll start with my perspective on what it's like to study at CSU as an online student. So you can see there, one of the big benefits of online, you don't need me to sell this to you, it's around flexibility. So fitting learning around your life with online study. So we know that a large proportion of Charles Sturt University students have a life, they have work, either full-time or part-time. And increasingly, online study is something that is needed to fit study in with our busy schedule. So CSU is a leader in online study. It allows you to study on your own terms, wherever and whenever, and I'll get to that more in a moment. Complete flexibility. We have a lot of support networks in place, really supportive academics as well as administrative staff. The great thing about IT and computing is our courses are 100% online. So there's no need for you to ever set foot on a CSU campus if that's your desire, right? All of our learning materials online. There are no mandatory residentials or in-person classes. So it allows you to complete everything without the stress of coming to campus. One of the points down the bottom there are replay lectures and get everything you need at the click of a button. All of our online subjects in computing have a weekly online lecture, and that's recorded. So some students do attend those synchronously, but many students will watch the recording. But there is a lecture using this technology, right? Using Zoom, where you get to connect with your lecturer, go through a standard lecture, but online, and also have the opportunity to ask questions, to talk with your classmates and so on. So it really is about your pace, your rules, because you don't need to be there live for those. You can watch the replays if you like, the recordings, many people do. So you're not missing out on anything by being an online student at all. A lot of people are worried, perhaps they haven't studied for a long time. And do they have any gaps in their knowledge? CSU offers our Study Link program, and Study Link is a short, self-paced set of modules that allow you to fill in any gaps that you feel you might have with your knowledge. Now, for the most part, all of our subjects at the start of a degree moving through won't make any assumptions, right? So if you're coming into IT, there won't be an assumption that you understand computer programming. There are subjects on that topic. But sometimes maybe you're starting a course on big data, for example, and you want to brush up on your statistics. You have access to our free Study Link program. Typically, they run about 16 to 20 hours and allow you to fill in any gaps and just have more confidence that you can master the material. So that's an added advantage of you enrolling at CSU. A lot of short programs available to you free of cost, and that can be done at any time throughout the study cycle. So again, many people who are new to university or tertiary study may not understand the qualification levels. So we produce them here at the bottom, and it's by no means a mean feat, but at the bottom of the university hierarchy, you've got your undergraduate programs. So we have an undergraduate certificate, which is just 4 subjects. So you can think of it kind of on a level with a certificate 4. Then we have our bachelor's programs. So what we'll be looking at tonight, one of the courses, Bachelor of Information Technology, is typically your undergraduate program, and increasingly, you do need an undergraduate degree to get into the workforce in IT, right? It's very competitive. There are lots of opportunities out there, but it is a competitive space, and having an undergraduate degree does help you get that foot in the door. As you move up, and some people do like to, they start with an undergraduate degree, they go and get work, and then they have the opportunity to then get higher and higher qualifications, perhaps while they're working. We'll get to that in a minute, as well as the experience or the qualifications you need. But as you move up the ladder, you've got your graduate certificate programs, right? They're 4 subjects. So part-time, you can do those in less than a year. Your graduate diploma, not to be confused with the diploma. It's a graduate diploma. It's 8 subjects. You move then to your master's level, right? Getting right at the top of the academic pile. Typically, a master's is 12 subjects long. And important to note as well that these degrees often feed into each other. So you can do a graduate certificate of 4 subjects, and from there move to a master's, and depending if it's relevant or not, get 4 subjects credit, leaving 8 subjects to complete a master's. And at the top, there's the PhD doctorate typically for those who want to pursue an academic career, not necessarily as highly regarded in industry. So looking at the courses that we offer here at Charles Sturt, undergraduate programs, we have our undergraduate certificate in IT. As I mentioned, that's 4 subjects. The Bachelor of IT, which is our main undergraduate IT degree, available fully online. That's a 3-year degree, 3-year full-time, 6-year part-time, but there are ways to speed that up as well. You can take additional sessions, take additional subjects, and there are credit options as well for those of you who are coming in through different pathways. Industry certifications, for example, might attract credit. TAFE qualifications can attract credit and thus shorten the length of those programs. In terms of the postgraduate programs, we've got some really interesting ones on screen there. These are the shorter postgraduate programs, so 4 subjects. Our graduate certificate in IT, which is a very generalist IT program. We've got one that looks at big data. We'll go through the contents of that a little more closely in one second. But obviously big data, data mining is an area that's in favor at the moment. There's so much data around. How do we make sense of it? How do we connect the dots? How do we learn from the data what is not immediately obvious to us. So all of those topics are treated in the area of applied data science, and we have a 4-subject graduate certificate in AI, applied AI. So we're looking at AI algorithms, but also how to apply those, how to develop our own, how to use large language models to best effect, and so on. Again, another very topical area. So before we get into the content, let's just do a bit more spruiking. CSU, a 5-star uni for graduates who get jobs, right? Computing undergraduates who get jobs. We've been running a long time. Our IT degrees have been running a long time, and our graduates are in positions of importance, because all jobs are important, but all over the world, right? They're with big companies, small businesses. They're in startups. So our graduates get jobs, and as much as any sort of sandstone or more high-profile universities do, if not more. We're also #1 in New South Wales for our postgraduate programs and educational experiences. So we have a lot of postgraduate students come through our institutions. These are people who are experienced in industry and who do know what they're talking about in terms of the quality of our offerings at that level. So our Bachelor of Information Technology, in summary, there's a core a core body of knowledge that all students in the Bachelor of Information Technology will study. The basics of the web, the basics of programming, the basics of project management, the basics of computer architecture, everything that any IT professional needs to know. But there's also the opportunity for you to specialize, or in university speak, to major in a different or specific area. So we have majors in cybersecurity, software design, so programming, network engineering, and web development. All of those key areas of employment, and cybersecurity, for example, is not going out of fashion anytime soon. No matter how much you hear about AI taking control of all of the jobs, the IT jobs for the foreseeable future are still very, very safe. A big selling point of our degrees at Charles Sturt, they're not just all theory. So really important that our students build industry experience while they study. To that end, in our Bachelor of Information Technology degree, we have work placement offerings. So you will get a placement as part of your study with an industry professional, with a business, with a company, right, in the area that you're focusing on. So it's a ready-made start for your resume for those who are coming in cold and doing a Bachelor of IT without any prior experience. And that's very important. All of our students as well do a major final year project as part of their study. Again, it's all about working with a real client, whether it's in software development or a cybersecurity brief or a network engineering project. All of our students in the Bachelor of IT in their final year will work with a real client to do a real project. So 3 years full-time, 6 years part-time, we mentioned. There's the admission criteria. It can be very complex. I'll go through just the main points. So a HSC with a minimum ATAR of 55, or you might have a HSC with strong qualifications or strong marks in, say, IT, or maybe you've done 2 appropriate IT university level subjects. School recommendation scheme is another way to get entry. Industry certifications, if you have a Microsoft certification or a Cisco certification, not only might that attract credit, it can be used as well as an entry point. Work experience, if you've got experience in the industry, and many students that we have do have industry experience, but for some reason or another never got the formal qualifications. Okay, so AQF3 in IT from TAFE or higher, or a stat test. I always say, if in doubt, reach out to us. Please reach out to us. If you don't have the qualifications, we will find you a pathway or recommend a pathway for you that will allow entry to the Bachelor of IT down the track. That could be, on the next slide, we should speak about the university certificate. No, we don't. Maybe it's the slide after. But the university certificate, the undergraduate certificate in IT, you might start with entry into that program, right? 4 subjects, and entry conditions there are more flexible than the bachelor's. If you successfully complete those 4 subjects, you'll get direct entry into the bachelor's, and you'll bring along those 4 subjects of credit. So there are options for how we enter into these programs. So just moving back a slide, I think, Mel, industry subjects. So it's really important that our students learn not just technical skills. Technical skills clearly are important in the IT area, but so are management and workplace skills, right? How to communicate. And this doesn't mean we're wanting our students to become star speakers, but it is important to know the basics of communication, how to deliver a report in person, how to deliver a basic presentation, how to write an effective email, how to write an effective report. So that's one of the skills you'll learn, in addition to obviously technical skills such as how to program a computer, understanding computer architecture, understanding how the internet works, how networks function, networking protocols. All of that geeky stuff is balanced out as well with things that are important for business, such as resilience, emotional intelligence, financial literacy, the ability to read a spreadsheet, to analyze data and to develop insights and to make recommendations. So all of those business-like skills are covered in the Bachelor of IT as well as the technical skills. We've mentioned that one. So moving along to our postgraduate IT courses. So these are normally, but not always, courses that you would do after you've done an undergraduate degree. Now, we'll get to that in a moment because there are entry pathways for people who have industry experience but don't see any value in necessarily going and studying introduction to programming, right? Because maybe you've worked 5 years in the cyber field, but you want to get formal qualifications, right? These sorts of degrees are perfect for that, and you can get entry based on your industry experience. They're shorter programs. Cybersecurity needs no introduction, right? Incredibly important area. And in this degree, you're learning about digital forensics, how to run an investigation, but also how to make sure that investigation stands up in court. Cryptography, right? What goes on under the hood, studying various encryption algorithms and applications of cryptography, as well as things such as cloud security, cybercrime, cyber terrorism. All of the key areas are covered in that cybersecurity program. We have a software development stream in our postgraduate courses, right? Understanding software design methodologies. So we have a number of languages that we teach, Python, Java. We do have some assembly level programming as well in one of our subjects, as well as mathematical type applications of software development, such as R. Computer networking, although we don't have a graduate certificate specifically on computer networking, it does feature a lot in our postgraduate programs, understanding how to build, maintain, create and secure networks. The last two, we have specific graduate certificates on those: data science, right? Learning to extract value from large data sets, and artificial intelligence, learning to design and develop AI applications, learning to bring AI into the business to add value, right? And whether that's designing your own or using existing systems to add value, an incredibly important and relevant topic for the current age. So looking at some of our grad cert programs, so graduate certificate in information technology, it's a generalist program. So basically consists of 4 subjects of your choice. So you can design one of these to suit your needs. So how it works is that you take 3 subjects from a single group and 1 subject from another, or it can also be from that same single group. So you can do a graduate certificate in information technology that focuses just on software or cloud computing or networking or general IT or security. So ultimate flexibility, and being just 4 subjects, you can complete that in less than a year. So it gives you a postgraduate level qualification in a short space of time, done entirely online. Our graduate certificate in applied data science consists of 4 subjects. You've got our core subject there, foundations of big data analytics. And I'm just going to look at my cheat sheet here very quickly, just to give you a really quick introduction to the topics there. So you're looking about, the need for big data analytics, requirements, looking at the big data life cycle, understanding the types of data that are out there. Sometimes, we have categorical data, we have numeric data. How do we classify and use all of those different data types? So everyone must do that in that course. It's core, but then you get to choose the electives which suit. So you might choose to study database systems. You might choose to study Python programming, which is incredibly important in the area of big data and writing your own programs to process big data. But there are other areas. You can see there, data and knowledge engineering, ITC 573. So that one is looking at the different data mining algorithms that are out there, the software packages that use those, and how to apply those algorithms to classify existing data. So you can imagine you've got a stack of data, you want to start to make sense of it. We can start to classify them into data records that are similar, but also for you to discover knowledge that you don't even know is there by applying different algorithms and learning insights into the data. Writing reports on data, recommendations based on those insights. There are some subjects there as well on statistical analysis, right? So you can go right down that pathway of being able to statistically analyze and draw appropriate conclusions, establish hypotheses and prove or disprove them based on your understanding of statistics. Again, these subjects are taught in such a way that we don't make assumptions about whether you have statistical knowledge or not. Almost all these subjects allow, or certainly the introductory ones, allow you to gain all the knowledge you need to then go on and take the more advanced units. So applied data science, a really important and topical area, perhaps not quite as topical in the media, at least, as artificial intelligence, which is everywhere. And if you listen to some people, we're all going to be out of jobs in about 3 years, but I think that's probably overblown, right? Yes, artificial intelligence is making an incredible impact. It is going to transform the business and work landscape in profound ways. But that creates opportunities as well for those who know how to apply it in different business situations, who know how to use artificial intelligence systems, including large language models, to leverage advantages for business, but also for people who can understand the underlying algorithms and can even design their own AI systems. This course, GradCert, allows you to take those various pathways depending on your area of interest. So we start with Python programming, because an understanding of that is absolutely crucial for being able to develop your own systems. We then look at how we apply AI in business, understanding AI algorithms and machine learning algorithms, how they work, and being able to use those for everything from making predictions to making use of existing data, to helping to automate complex tasks. So the graduate certificate in applied artificial intelligence, a very relevant program, again, can be done in less than 1 year. Entry requirements. These are for the postgraduate courses that I mentioned, right? Bachelor degree, it doesn't need to be in IT. So if you have a Bachelor of Business from any recognised tertiary institution, you will get entry into our grad cert programs, or 2 years relevant work experience. So you've been working in industry, preferably the IT industry, although it could be business as well. And you have a number of years at a reasonably mature level, apply, right? Very likely you will get into the graduate program based on that work experience, even if you don't have an undergraduate degree. So we're basically saying, well, you've got the experience. There's no point in you studying IT from the ground up. You can go into the graduate programs or a graduate certificate in a related area. Again, I always say reach out if you're unsure. IT is a growing industry. Its death and a decline has been predicted for so many decades, but it continues to grow. There are many opportunities. To be honest, I don't know if those salaries are still relevant, right? They look a bit on the low side now to me. Perhaps they're a little bit dated. Certainly, the industry is competitive, and having a degree does help you stand out from the crowd, but there is still enormous demand for programmers, for database professionals, for networking professionals, web developers, and the areas that I mentioned, big data and AI, right? We're not leaving the digital space anytime soon. It's becoming more and more pervasive, right? So having IT skills, having IT qualifications is only going to help you, realize your career. And as I say, it is more competitive than it was, say, during the COVID era, when probably people were getting into jobs with lower levels of qualification. You now need qualifications, I think it's fair to say, to help stand out from the crowd, or even to put you on an equal footing sometimes. So qualifications are incredibly important in the industry to help not just establish your career, but also to ensure it keeps moving forward. Career opportunities, there are so many of them, right? Some of them we've not heard of yet, but the traditional ones, software development, network administrator, cybersecurity analyst, data analyst, cloud engineer, web or mobile app developer, IT project officer. And, something like cybersecurity, it covers so many areas. We're talking about cybersecurity for business. We're talking cybersecurity in the military. We're talking cybersecurity for banking systems. So it covers, even within the AI realm, a new flourishing area of cybersecurity is large language model security. Because people are using these AI systems and trying to get around the guardrails that are in place. They're trying to get at information they shouldn't be able to get. So cybersecurity analysts now are moving very much into that AI space and making sure that these AI systems are protected and not misused. So even within any single career there are so many different variations that the mind boggles. So moving on, well, it's time now to stop listening to me. Hopefully you've got some good information there. We're going to hear from our Charles Sturt students and alumni, people who've been through some of our courses. So with that, I will be quiet and perhaps hand it over to our moderator.
Righto. So at this stage, there's no actual questions that have come through. But I guess with Mitchell and Caroline, do you want to give us a bit of a background about what you studied or are studying, and any, I guess, tips you'd recommend for anyone who may be considering studying these courses?
Yeah, do you want me to start? I'm happy to go first.
Yep, sure.
Alrighty, so my name's Mitchell Dederer. I studied with Charles Sturt University doing the Bachelor of Information Technology, which you learn a little bit about through the slides. And I chose to major in the area of software development and design. So I've always been a little bit of a hobbyist programmer, but at the ripe old age of 28, I decided to make the change into the IT industry, starting with an IT degree from Charles Sturt University. During my time there, I was fortunate enough to be offered an internship position with quite a very large global company. So I'm still there today, working primarily as a programmer. And I definitely owe kind of that start of my career to Charles Sturt University for helping me get my foot in the door. As Jason was alluding to, it is very important that you do kind of come with something that can make you stand out from the crowd. And an IT degree is a perfect starting point for that. So a little bit about kind of what I do currently. Like I said, I'm a programmer. I work a lot with a software suite called Salesforce, which is very widely used kind of software suite that's very extensible with programming. There's a lot of career opportunity in particular in this area. So it was a very natural choice for me to go there. Yeah, I'm very, very happy with my experience through Charles Sturt University. I really can't recommend the course enough. Everything from the teaching staff to the subject material has been an excellent kind of resource for me to kind of launch my career into the IT industry. And it's given me that kind of knowledge and drive to really continue learning on my own as well. You may have heard this from a few people, but when you go to university and you study a course, you're not only learning the course material, you're also learning how to learn. And that in and of itself can be an incredibly valuable resource to you as you leave university and go into the workplace. Yeah, so that being able to learn in this day and age is a very important skill to have as you go into the workplace. The industry landscape is evolving very rapidly, particularly with the advent of AI and the way it's kind of disrupting and changing the industry as a whole. Being able to make sure that you're constantly on top of any kind of new and emerging technologies, of course, AI being the big one, is a very valuable skill to have. So being able to learn after university is potentially one of the greatest skills that you'll walk away with, as well as a great network of people that you've met during your course. I have quite a network of very good friends that I'm still in contact with regularly. They're all kind of starting to move into the industry as well. So in my view, there's really no better way to get your foot into the industry than by starting with an undergraduate degree. It's definitely been a huge change to my life. It was a big career change. It was a very nerve-wracking decision for me to kind of make that change. But I'm very glad that I did. And Charles Sturt was there with me kind of every step of the way. So I'm very grateful for the experience that I've had at Charles Sturt University. And if you are considering studying IT with Charles Sturt, you've definitely got my recommendation. So yeah, thank you.
Thanks very much, Mitchell. Caroline, I've actually got a message that's come through directed at you. How did you manage to study, or how did you manage online study?
So yes, that's an excellent question. And online study is actually my preference because I do work full time, and along with all the other things that happen in life, it was a question, can I even fit university study in, and how am I going to do it? And I thought, you have to go on to the uni campus, you have to be there for lectures. And when I found out, and it's one of the reasons why I chose Charles Sturt, when I found out that you can actually do your degree completely online, that was an absolute game changer for me. So online study, you do have to keep track of yourself. You have to make sure that at the start of every session, you grab hold of your calendar and you take note of when your assignments and different pieces are all due, and make sure you mark them on the calendar. And then, yeah, just you work your life around that. And it's the online platform I found for myself was fabulous in the way that you could go back and re-listen to lectures. And the way the lectures are recorded, quite often they have notes on the right-hand side. So if you're looking for a piece of information, you can actually skim through those notes and go, I know it was somewhere here in this lecture. That's not something you can do sitting in a classroom. And if you're sitting in a classroom, some people learn in that environment really well. I have a tendency to go, what was that they just said? So being able to hit the rewind button and pick up on it is just invaluable. And also it's fitting it around my work as well. It's like I couldn't go to a lecture, I can't get there. But the fact that I can sit down at whatever time in the evening and think, okay, it's uni time now. It's really, it's such a game changer. Yeah, highly recommend it.
Awesome. I'm just aware of the time. We've gone over time, but I just want to say a big thank you to Jason Mitchell and Caroline for your assistance in this presentation. It's been amazing. So thank you. And I just want to remind people that if they do have any questions that didn't get a chance to ask tonight, you can jump on our, or you can either email us at ask@csu.edu.au, or you can jump onto our CSU homepage under the Contact Us, and you'll see a whole range of ways to reach out to us, and we're happy to assist you. I'll also put in our chat some of the on-demand library videos we have, different resources we offer while you are studying at Charles Sturt. But in the meantime, we hope to see you all soon at Charles Sturt University. So thank you.
Definitely vouch for that, Andrew. It's never too late. And come and study with Charles Sturt, very supportive environment, and you learn so much. You really do.
Amazing. Thank you.